Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I'm back with another replay that I took from Cast It, the subsection of StarCraft 2 where you get to submit your own replay with a brief description and then have it casted. And I'm not quite sure who the uploader is, but I'm confident that it's our Protoss here in the upper left-hand corner of the map. His name is Dipwood, and it seems that he is representing a clan by the name of Zeez. Interesting name, to say the very least. Lower right-hand corner of the map, spawning as our Zerg in the blue trunks. His name is just Coke. lCokel, if you will. And the map we're on today would be Akilon Wastes, rather kind of wide open, natural for both players, really. It is a symmetrical map, and you know what? All StarCraft 2 maps are symmetrical. What am I talking about? Or they could be bilateral. You could divide them up into fourths, and they would be completely even that way. Probably thinking of my symmetry incorrectly, but meh. What do I know? I was actually really bad at math and the sciences in university. Still kind of am, so just concentrated on going for the arts, really. Okay, so interesting spot for Dipwood's probe to stop. Why isn't he going into the main? There we go. He's getting a thorough scout on Coke, just making sure he's not up to doing anything too silly or greedy. But just a little curious, is this going to be a Forge Fast expand? Ooh, no, it's actually going to be, looks like a Nexus first opener. He's floating a few, wow, he's not floating quite enough minerals, but hey. He is the Masters League Protoss, I'm not. And looks like Coke is actually going for it. You know what? He's just like, oh, great, the probe's here, and it's this early. So, okay, why bother taking an expo? I guess I can try, or maybe I can feint giving an expo. And that's probably what Coke is trying to do right now. The probe's getting pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled. And I'm thinking that perhaps Dipwood is thinking that Coke is going to be going for a double hatch expo, but he better go into the main and verify that. Ooh, that's a 5 HP probe, so close to getting taken down, but it was not, unfortunately. Yes, quite unfortunately for, well, quite unfortunately for Jim. It's not going to give him an extremely early lead. Did I really just say Jim? Quite unusual for Coke. He's going to have to actually get a SimCity up really, really fast, and this is going to force him to essentially cut probes for the time being. And here we are. These Zerglings are now out, and the question is, are they going to get into the main? Now, presently it's only, you know, basically 3 Zerglings out, and it looks like their main priority for now is actually going for the Xel'Naga Watchtowers. I would say in this position it would be okay to actually try and get them to run by and see if they could actually make it to the natural in time. In fact, I'm pretty confident that, you know, if those initial 3 had done so, they would have been just fine, and the drone's still chasing the probe. Looks like the probe is here to essentially annoy the heck out of that Ling. And, you know, he's just basically stalling for time. Doing a good job of it, too. And that Ling is just parked right out here. The cannon's not even finished. Does he know about it? Yeah, he knows about it, but he doesn't see a full wall off. I don't know, just some slightly flawed play, you know. I've come to expect this, you know, whenever I'm not casting a name that is, you know, an MLG and so on and so forth. I'm not saying that these guys aren't MLG material, of course they are both Masters League, but I mean, I've seen players that were Grandmasters on the Southeast Asia server get into the Asia StarCraft League, which I cast every Tuesday and Thursday morning. And, you know, even they still have flaws. Grandmasters on the Chinese server, too. Yeah, least played servers on the planet, and, well, I wouldn't say that's particularly why, but, you know. Just everybody makes mistakes. Let's just put it that way. There is a good sizable deal of Lings coming here, and it looks like they're going to try and power through with speed to the natural, and I'm thinking this might not constitute a full wall off. Maybe they can squeeze through. There's no sentry here. Ling's trying desperately to get by this probe. Oh no, that probe was not on hold position. Or was it? It moved by accident. Oh no, and now the probes are getting pulled from the main to go into the natural. It looks like the Lings are just going to go square away at this Nexus in the main. And the Zealot, unfortunately, you know, where is the Zealot? Oh, there it is, but it's just one. And the problem is, if he doesn't keep that wall off full, if he doesn't keep it from being a full, complete wall off, then he's in a lot of trouble. And we already see he's in a lot of trouble for losing some probes presently. But if we check the worker count right now, he's still relatively far ahead of Coke. So if he can just keep the probes that he has alive right now, he'll be good to go. Looks like this cannon's going to be taken down. Yeah, it doesn't even get canceled, poor guy. The Zealot's, you know, slow, kind of clumsy, but it's alright. I don't think these Lings can do too much damage. I mean, just look at this. Yeah, it looks like we have Coke's multitasking skills suffering just a little bit, but behind this he takes a third. So that's going to more than make up for the slight macro mistakes that we saw earlier. Again, back to the worker count right now. That is the most critical part. Both players not too terribly far or behind where they were a few moments ago. That's one hero Ling going around just to annoy that crud out of dipwood. Doesn't get that final probe kill. Now we have 3 hatcheries, and both players are continuing to crank out workers, but I want to say that dipwood is, you know, essentially coming out ahead in this. He has, I just hope he's aware of this. He did have to throw down and cancel a gateway just to basically make a temporary wall off. And right now his natural is at full saturation. His main, however, is a different story. Sentries are doing their best to get rid of the overlords, you know, just kind of clearing away the map. And these overlords, it looks like their placement would be more appropriate for ZVT. You know, simply due to the fact that there are, you know, typically bio and drops are much more viable there. And we do have double evolution chambers going down in the main for Coke. Meanwhile, the main for dipwood, this is just a bit confusing of an opener. I can't quite figure out what we're going to see from dipwood. I do want to say that his production buildings are like dangerously low in my mind. Sure, he's got 4 altogether. And his warp gate tech is relatively delayed, but altogether I'd say he's doing just fine in the department of macro. He didn't lose too many workers early on, and he's actually ideally where he should be as Protoss. You know, I mean, 3 base Zerg versus 2 base Protoss, this is the exact amount of workers that you want to have at this stage in the game, all things considered. Mothership Core is going to work on the Lings that are trying to go to work on the rocks, and fun fact of the day, if a single Ling kills all of your rocks, it will turn into an Ultralisk. I'm kidding. I'm sure the next thing that you guys would probably want to know is how to find the golden warthog in Halo 2, right? Back in the day. Double Queen spreading creep. Interesting style to this Zerg player that, you know, it's not so commonly seen, really. I can't help but say it. Creep tumors need to continue to be spread. But I'm just a little curious to see how the rest of this game is going to pan out. And early Colossi tech coming out already. Not entirely sure what this Immortal in production is, you know, going to serve as, you know, a means to an end, honestly. I think maybe the early Ling run by may have just signaled to him just a little bit. And this is actually going to be the nail, not the nail in the coffin, but actually basically the signal. Based on the scouting information he has. Oh, and he's so close to spotting it, but he doesn't know about the infestation pit just yet. There is a macro hatch going down in the main as well. I'm thinking what we're going to see in the near future will be a largely Ling... What's the word I'm looking for? Largely Zergling infestor composition. I almost asked for a minute, is this Heart of the Swarm or is this Wings of Liberty? But then again, I remembered that there was a Mothership Core earlier, and, you know, I mean, the one thing that had me just asking that question or posing that question to myself for a moment is the very fact that just a moment ago we were listening to some music that existed even in Wings of Liberty. So here we go, both players just kind of going into their macro phase, just continuing it some more. Of course, this Overseer actually picks up on the 3rd base here, so it's basically Coke's signal to go ahead and take his own 4th. Colossus ready to go here. Zealot coming here to take care of this Changeling. Yeah, splits away and turns into a bunch of purple goop. With a screep, if you will. Now, what do we see in production from this Twilight Council? That's what I really want to know. Do these Stalkers have Blink? They do not. And Charge Lots do not have Charge yet. I'm thinking, is this for level 2 upgrades, perhaps? Ooh. Chrono Boost going down on the Forge, and it looks like, unfortunately, our Protoss is supply blocked at a rather critical moment. I mean, Colossi will be extremely important in dealing with this number of Zerglings. We just saw 40-something of them in production, caught the tail end of them in production, and now here they all are. We do have the Spire going down as well for Coke. It looks like, okay, that Infestation Pit was not initially for Infestors. I do concede to making that mistake. And we have a Spire going down, as well as the Ultralisk Cavern in production. Adrenal Glands +2/+2 in the mix as well. But, I mean, this many Lings, I'm thinking this is a little dangerous. You know, 62 in production right now, and there's plenty of Force Fields ready to go. 2 Queens are going to go to work. Ooh, and this Idle Colossus is actually going to get sniped. It's not really sniped, but, I mean, hey. And this is basically the hard counter to, you know, this is not what you want to go in with as Zerg. You do not want to be throwing Lings away at your opponent, which is essentially what we will be seeing him do. I mean, sure, this is only a handful of Zealots. Well, not really a handful. It's a good deal of them. But at the same time, you know, the Colossi is going to add to it, and not to mention the Force Fields, which are going down right now. They can't get a good surround on the Colossus. The Colossus is going to have to move into the middle of the death ball, if you will. And that is just a beautiful hold by Dipwood. Let's just see where he's going to go. The Zealots are trying to power their way through. They're actually moving out on creep. It's something that I find, something that I admire about the bravery of this Protoss. It's the very fact that he is moving out on creep with no observer. Just as I say that, I just finally spotted him. He did kill the creep tumors. Ultras popped just a little bit too late. They're going to take down the Ultras, and it looks like for now we're going to see our Zerg hold. I was almost afraid that the game was going to end, guys. I mean, come on. This is the exciting part about ZVP, when you get to the Ultras. Meanwhile, we have +3 in production, but we only have +2/+2 for our Zerg. Chitinous plating on the way for the Ultras, so that's going to bring it to 4-2, but we're going to need the additional Carapace upgrade. Meanwhile, in the background behind this, Dipwood is going for some counter-harass. Ultras slowly but surely chasing down the Zealots. Yes, these clumsy creatures. And it looks like the Lings were just about ready to pounce on that. Perfect, really. And with the spread on the overseers that we have, excuse me, the overlords that we have, I would say it's all right to just go ahead and throw them around randomly in space right now, especially with what we see here. But you know, right now, Ultras. Wow, that was a free sentry. Well, I guess I mean, once you think about it, I guess sentries are useless versus Ultras anyway. All they do with their laser lasso, if you will, is basically tickle them, and the force fields are useless. So yeah. Ultras coming in here, the Zealots making for kind of a plain-ish wall, if you will, and it looks like we have a non-stop stream of reinforcements that's kind of getting shut down. The Lings would have been needed the most there to support, and it looks like we have Coke just essentially not paying attention to what's happening here. Oh man, that Immortal's gonna fall. And we actually have a few too many Immortals here. If we could see the Lings take those down, it would kind of be big, and it would make a huge difference for the Ultras if they were to come back into the game. Meanwhile, we have +3/+3 going down. This Warp Prism still not being utilized, and it looks like we have Dipwood essentially holding against that. We have both players at an even worker count, so essentially what we have is Coke being extremely far behind. And just as I said, even worker count, those were the workers that had just popped that were in production. I'm a little confused as to why this Ultra is kind of just straying away to this direction. Oh, but it looks like, you know, he's gonna get... Oh. That was actually looking a little appealing for just a moment. He was actually doing all these Zealots were giving him a group hug. He's like, hey, don't hug me, I got scissors. Yeah, these 2 tusks, yeah, they're actually just scissors. Look at them. Ooh, shiny. Yeah. Alright, so here we go. It looks like DT Warpin took down a good deal of the Lings that were here, and this is actually really bad, but Coke is not entirely oblivious to this. He pulls drones, and oh no, this could be devastating. We're going to see a good deal of tech being taken down. But right now, with what we see here for the main composition, Archons are going into the mix. I was about to say that perhaps Mutas would be a temporary solution to the calamities that we now see Coke in. The Spire is going to be taken down. The Infestation Pit's going to be taken down. Is there something wrong with making an Overseer and making a bunch of Lings and sending them into your main to save it? I'm a little curious. What is going on here? Is the APM at 0 or something? Okay, he's just... I see what he's doing. He's just making static defenses, but static defenses aren't going to save the tech that's in his main. This is actually quite bad for Coke. He's gonna lose his hive here. Does he have his spawning pool alive still? Oh no, it looks like it disappeared. He doesn't have a way. Oh no! Just as I say that, he made as many mutas as he could. He's gonna take down this Void Ray, or excuse me, this Void Ray, wow. This Warp Prism. It's +3/+3 finished, I believe it is, but that's only for ground units, and there's no spawning pool ready to go, and it looks like this is just essentially the biggest mistake that we could see from a Masters League player. I'm entirely oblivious as to what he was trying to do there. Supply difference now 82 to 140. It looks like this natural hatch is in danger of falling. We're going to have to see a lot more transfuses. The DT is kind of making it out of attack range there. The spawning pool is going to be rebuilt here, but there's nothing here to protect it. Presently, we have all the mutas going at the third of our Protoss, and it looks like we got some lazy reflexes going down. I'm not sure what this is all about. Whoa, 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 whoa! The mutas! They're expensive when you make huge flocks of them like that, bro. It looks like these DTs are actually just mainly concerned with targeting down the hatch. Even if we did see this DT switch to targeting down the pool, I'm pretty sure that Queen would kill it first. DT going toe-to-toe with that Queen. The Queen prevails. Muta's coming down here to the natural after just massacring the main and the third, and it looks like this is actually going to be quite a close game. Wouldn't have been a bad idea to actually try sniping a few probes there. But oh, did he catch the tail end of that expo? He does. He knows about it. Overlord's right there. He's got to react to that. Meanwhile, the third, what was originally the third, did get rebuilt. We have static defenses going down to essentially... Oh, what was that? What was that? Ah, okay, I guess I could hit the back button for just a moment to see what that was. Oh, it's an observer. Okay, so here we are, back in where we were a moment ago. Static defenses going down at the third. Muta's going to go ahead and try and target down this fourth. It looks like they will not get it. I don't know, I can't help but wonder if dipwood was a little more conscious of the damage that he had done in his opponent's main, taking down all the main tech structures. It would have been perfectly safe for him to move out and just place a bunch of static defense cannons. Especially given the fact that the mutas are at 0/0 upgrades, those cannons would tear through them. And I mean more than just one cannon. Sure, you could just dot the line here with a bunch of cannons. Even surround his third and keep himself on one base income while he went to town on his opponent's natural. Lair's about to finish up, and it looks like we actually have our Zerg not ready to deal with this threat that is imminent and headed his way right now. He's forgotten to take down the rocks. There's no escape for these drones. His income is going to suffer. Spawning pool is going to have to be rebuilt. That's the most quintessential part of his unit composition. And meanwhile, we have both players at relatively even supply, but at the same time, the most important part of this is that Coke is on mutas. Meanwhile, Protoss breaking away at the rocks here. It looks like both players are going to take this into a base race scenario. We need to see drones pulled, and we need to see them pulled fast to make basically buildings to not remax, but rather rebuild, and just keep themselves from being revealed, essentially. Probes have all been pulled off of the third. I kind of feel like that's a slight mistake, but it's okay. I think... Oh my god, what about these drones? They need to be pulled. He needs something to build an extractor with. He needs something to build, I don't know, an extractor, a hatchery, or something. He's floating so many resources right now, but that's because he can't really build anything. Can he? Meanwhile, Spine Crawler trying to target down what's on the high ground here. It's not going to happen. The drones here, unfortunately, are stuck in the position, the calamity that they're in. And it looks like we have a hatchery going down up here. And right now we have both players essentially taking it into the full-blown base race scenario, which is kill all my buildings. You know what? If you kill all my buildings, I'll kill all yours, that kind of thing. Mutas versus the Stalkers here. There's a higher muta count. Of course, these Stalkers are 0/0 and they can tear through, but I mean, they can tear through the paper-thin armor of the mutas, but at the same time, I think what is more colossal a threat would be the very fact that, oh, what do you know, you forgot about this hatchery. Send some zealots up here to deal with it. What about this hatchery over here? The question is, will it be spotted? There's a Queen over here. There's an Ultra that's confused, super confused. 27 HP left on him, and he's, I dare say he's basically playing with fire doing this. Meanwhile, the mutas did destroy the natural nexus, and they have to get the one in the main to actually get this Protoss to be fully revealed. If we just check our Protoss, you know, dipwood, his line of vision, there could, for all he knows, there could be an expo here, there could be an expo here, there could be an expo here. It looks like, where are all the probes?
there are no probes left. So what we see from both players now is essentially all that's in the game. What we do need to see at this hatch is a bunch of stuff being rebuilt. Oh my god, you do not want to face him head on like that, bro. Oh man, pull the mutas back, save them, fight for another day. Pull his main force into the main, and then go back and attack the buildings at the third. That would be, I think, the most wise decision you could make. But the most important part is, oh my god, he's actually sniping. He's sniping the stalkers one at a time. He realizes they don't have blink. This is beautiful, but at the same time dangerous because, oh my god, the Archons are about to come in and they take a huge chunk out of the mutas along with the stalkers. And now I'm just a little curious, how's this going to end? You know, we essentially have Coke. You know, he needs to make another drone. He needs to throw down another hatch. All these zealots are stuck looking for the final hatch, and that's all they're going to do. They are all that's left. DTs are here. Look, Dark Shrine's going to be taken down, but I don't know if there's any way we can see our Protoss producing anything. 3 drones are being made right now, which means we could see another hatch in production in another angle on the map. And who would expect... Oh! Pull the mutas back! God. Oh boy, who would expect, you know, a Zerg to remake their base inside of their original base? You know, maybe putting a hatch right here or right here would be good to go. No! Well, he does snipe the mothership core there, and the fast regen on the mutas is going to help, but at the same time, the upgrades are what's really going to make a huge difference as well. The drones are going to work, they're mining, but at the same time, we need to see another base being replanted. Protoss is officially supply blocked now. Dipwood, come on. Oh, but what about... When's he going to say, okay, enough is enough and I've had it? Basically, it looks like these zealots are going away on the hatchery, except the extractor, but they seem to entirely have forgotten just, you know, what's up. Ah, no, don't do that! Oh god, he lost 2 more mutas with that, and every single one of them is precious right now, because if we look and see just what the unit composition or what the present supply is, oh my god, this base has been discovered, and I wish that. I think we're going to see the game end. The drones have been killed. Are there any other buildings on the map? It's hard to say. The mutas are being pulled back, and there it is, the GG. Ouch. And it looks like he was forced to leave the game as he was rebuilding a spawning pool right here. He did have enough time to throw out the GG. Wow, quite the exciting game, at least, I mean, from the perspective of our Zerg. You know, in terms of close games, when both players lose all of their nexuses or all of their command centers, all of their, you know, planetary fortresses, or etc., their hatcheries as well, that's when I think the game becomes even more exciting, because then we have both players essentially being infinitely revealed. But if you guys liked what you saw here, just go ahead and click on the subscribe button. This is Breaker. I'll see you guys next time.